All right, there we go. Hello, everyone. So, we are doing a live stream today, and I hope everyone's having a happy Tuesday. Um, yeah, what's up? What's going on? What's new? We're going to do some texture creation today. I'm still trying to figure out where to put this microphone. It's sort of, I know it's in the way. Um, we'll figure it out. We're still ironing out the kinks here anyway. But yeah, we're going to be working in Substance Designer today, and we're going to be working on, as my plan shows right there, we're going to create a sci-fi wall texture because I have this new project that I want to get started, which is to create a scene made out of multiple textures in Substance Designer and then put them into Unreal Engine 4 and walk around in it. And it's something I've never done before. So I'm going to put all these new things that I'm learning in Substance Designer to the test and start creating some things, which is great, and start adding to the portfolio, which is really important. So please let me know if you can't hear what I'm saying. Like I said, I have the mic right about here. I can always boost it if I need to, but let me know in the chat if you can hear me. If you can't, super important. And if you want me to slow down, or if you want me to explain anything more that I'm doing, or if you have any questions, I have to keep reminding myself to look at the chat. I've got it here on my second screen over here. So here we go. And the plan is to just kind of relax and learn some things. I know there's going to be problem solving. I don't have everything figured out on what I'm going to create today, which is difficult for me because when I make a video, I like to have everything planned out. But this is a completely different beast, live streaming today. So let's get started, shall we? Let's switch our scene here. All right, so I've got Substance Designer loaded up here. You know what? I can already tell that my mic isn't going to be loud enough if I look this way. So, live, let's do some technical changes here. If I boost my microphone. Check, 1, 2. Did that work? Yeah, I think it did actually. Wow. Okay, much better. Great. So, yeah, let me know if again it's too loud. Hello. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name, but hi, and thanks for saying that you like my videos. Welcome to the stream. We're going to be making some texture, sci-fi wall textures today. So feel free to join in, or if you show me anything you're working on, or if you have any questions, let me know. Awesome. Great. So let's see. We've got Substance Designer here, and I've got my physically based metal roughness template going on, and let's start off with looking at some of the reference that I'm making. Or reference that I'm using. So I've put together this small reference thing. I'm using an app called Pure Ref, which is an unbelievable, amazing reference app that you can donate to, or you can download for free. And yeah, so I've assembled a bunch of images here. In fact, a lot of this stuff has been recently. I've been getting a lot of inspiration from Javier Perez. He has a tutorial series on ArtStation, like the Learning ArtStation platform, and he also goes by Mesh Modeler. He works for PlayStation actually, does Substance materials. So he did this whole series about creating this sci-fi corridor, and I got a lot of inspiration from this. I'm watching that right now. So I've got a lot of views of the materials that he's made there to look after. I've also got a bunch of some decals and stickers, and a lot of different corridor things here. This is Daniel Tiger, incredible material artist, huge inspiration to me. And I also have this image, a lot of things from Google Images as well. And what I really like about this one is, I hope you guys can see this big enough on the screen there, these layers here. And I like how it's got these rounded sections, like the top and bottom, kind of really make it feel like it's a corridor. And yes, and there's also these smaller details in here. I thought this image was just really, really great to look at. And let's see what else I got. Similar to this one as well, where I see these got these chunks. They don't look like trim sheets. I'm not really sure about trim sheets yet, but that's what I have. I've got a bunch of greebles, is what they're called, where you see you've got all these little, like, you don't even know what they do, but they look like they're important, right? So I've got a bunch of these for inspiration. A lot of wires connecting things, a lot of patterns and circular patterns like this one. I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see. I got another one here like that. Really cool. And of course, yeah, we got this by Javier. This shows a lot of paneling going on, and panels are important when it comes to sci-fi material. Everything's got to be assembled. Everything has to have little screw holes, and they have to be looks like it's machined and it's held together. So that's important to take into account. So let's get started, shall we? I think what I really want to do is start from the back to the front. That's kind of the plan. So start off with the really simple details in the back. Build up the base shapes so there's some form there. Look at me using artistic terms, form. And yeah, really build really good silhouettes, really strong shapes, and then add the details on later, which is the fun parts as well. I mean, the whole thing's fun, but yeah. All right. So for this, I'm going to look at creating some sort of vertical things like this. This is really what I want my shapes to look like. There's a main texture box right here. This is the material. And then we've got these columns. So let's start making something with columns in it. So I got my template. And just doing an audio check. Can you guys hear everything all right? Just want to make sure you can hear me okay. And let me know in the chat. So I'm going to go to Materials, Edit. Actually, I'm not on tessellation, so I'm going to go to tessellation. And yay! I'm really happy just to start live streaming. It's great. I did a secret live stream earlier where I was kind of practicing and doing this stuff, and it was just like sort of ridiculous. Like, wires got everywhere. It's crazy. All right, anyway, let's get started. So we're doing, let's bring up the tessellation to 16, and I'm going to start with a scale of about 8. And let's get some shapes. We'll do a shape. Let's bring the size. I want to do this. Yeah, bring the size down. I'm going to tile this thing like 3 times. Loud and clear. Awesome, thank you. All right. Let's bring the Y down. And I need to get my blend started here. So let's pump this blend into the normal. And the height, and then I need my ambient occlusion. So we can see what's going on here. Perfect. Done. All right. And I'm going to turn my camera off here just for a second so we can see the full screen. And we're going to add a couple of, take a look at the reference here. Let's like talk about those paneling things, how everything's sort of assembled. We could add some screws onto it. Could do that. It's an option. Yeah, why not? All right, so right away we can see this is far too white, far too bright here. It's bringing the height all the way out. So we're going to have to dial that down. We can do a histogram. I don't think scan is going to be the right one. No, I think I'll just do levels. I use levels all the time. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to, howdy, Artificial Arts. How's it going? Bring down our main. Oh, there we go. That's braining it. Great. And it's still a bit tall. Scale down the Y a bit. Great. Oh my goodness. You know what? I think. Oh yeah. So artificial lights. I'm fine working on sci-fi as well. Yeah, you're working on some sci-fi stuff. That's cool. I think it's great. I grew up on Star Trek and Star Wars, and always loved that kind of stuff. Yeah, doing good. Thank you. You know what's funny though? Let me switch to my screen here. Everything has to go wrong when you're live, right? My mouse just died. So give me just 2 seconds while I grab another battery, and I'll be right back. All right? Thanks for holding on for a second. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. Funny how that happens, isn't it? If you're curious what mouse I use, it really isn't amazing. I think this one I got from Best Buy. It's just a simple mouse. The reason why I needed it is because I needed a scroll wheel, and I needed it to click. And it's not so easy to use Substance Designer with a trackpad. While you can do it. It just makes so much more sense to use a scroll wheel. All right. So, artificial arts, what kind of sci-fi stuff are you working on? Oh, a tablet. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a tablet as well. I've been using it for working in ZBrush and stuff like that. I have also tried to use Substance with a tablet, and I think it's actually if you're used to something like that, I think that's pretty good too. Um, absolutely, tablets are great. Let's give us a little bit more height depth here. I always like exaggerating the ambient occlusion at the beginning. Cool. So slowly but steadily, we're getting started here. So we've got a panel. Gonna bring that height down again, and I think what I want to start doing is adding those small screws into the corner and adjusting this bevel that I added. Make it very fine. That's good. And that's good. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to keep that there for now. Let's get another shape up here. And we're just going to use we need a disc. Scale it down quite a bit. Gonna use let's see, should I do a, you know what? Instead of using a disc, I'm gonna choose the paraboloid because you can map it pretty well with either a gradient map or a curve node. So I'm gonna do that. If we zoom in here, we see our small. I think let's adjust the curve of this screw hole. So we want it to go down in the middle, not completely. Hey, that's great that you're. Yeah, I find tutorials are awesome, but sometimes you just need to do it use your own brain, right? That's how you learn. Like I had an entire like good year of just watching a bunch of tutorials, and while that's good, you can see what other people are doing and they're doing all the thinking for you. It's not until you really just start trying things and failing and problem solving that you really start learning, and then you really start being able to think for yourself. So that's great. Yeah, use that brain. It's really good. So I'm adjusting the curve of this paraboloid here so I can get something that looks a bit like a screw or a screw hole. And I want to add this. Let's blend things together now. Actually, what I want to do is I want to create a bunch of these and then place them in the corners of this thing here. And there's an amazing node, the mirror grayscale. While it's good at doing left and right or up and down axes, there's a mirror corner option, which is just, oh, it's great. It's really good. And I'm thinking, let's see what we're going to get here. So right now, of course, it's in the center. It's not going to do anything. Yeah, tutorials makes you familiar with the software. Absolutely. It shows you what the potential is out there, right? What you can put all those pieces together, and your brain, you can put them together in different ways than they do. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am absolutely addicted to watching tutorials. They're so much fun to watch. What I like about your tutorials are you explain what you're doing and not. Well, yeah. So, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I want to make videos that sort of explain the thought process behind why you would do something, so that you yourself could take that situation and apply it to something that you're also working on. So of course, the nodes themselves, sometimes I will do something because they're just cool, right? They're great. Like, yeah, exactly what I just said, this mirror grayscale node, I find it's a really awesome node, and I just want to implement it into something, right? Other times you need to understand why would you want to use a mirror grayscale node. Would it be to save time? Would it be to save performance? Because if you're creating a shader or a texture for a game engine that has to load this thing, hundreds and hundreds of times, maybe doing this instead of having like 4 transform nodes that put things in the corners might be better. Things like that, just to think about. Absolutely. You guys know what's up. So let's check this out. I'm going to add a transform 2D. And if I double click on this mirror grayscale, but I single click on the transform, you can see what's going on here. Whatever I do up in this top left corner is now going to be done in all the corners. So I could take this. Thank you very much. I could take this and add a transform and just do it again, but blend them together. So if I do this and I say add, and then I take this transform and make sure I'm viewing the right node here. There we go. And we'll probably assemble this. Oh, what did I do? I definitely broke it. There we go. Thank you very much. You guys are great. Thank you very much. We're going to do this a couple times here. And I'm going to add I think just one more. All right. So I'm going to transform this another time. Add another blend. And set it to add. So now we've got a couple of these assembling. And now we just need to make it conform to this panel. So I'm predicting something's going to happen, but I'm not quite sure. So let's just blend. Now I know that these aren't going to match up with the panel. But let's add them in anyway. Yeah. So you see they're on the outside here, which looks kind of cool, but not what we're going for. So of course we could just transform this and squish it together, but it's going to adjust. It's going to make those squeeze in. So I think overall what we're just going to have to do is add one more transform and take the whole lot and move this in. Do a tiny bit of scaling. Well, maybe not actually. I think these are all a bit too big actually, so I'm going to bring the scale down. That's better. We're going to do a lot of fiddling. Let's zoom in a bit. Just going to assemble each piece at a time here. Let's zoom in and look what we're doing. Yes, so they're definitely a bit, a bit intense. So let's adjust the opacity here. That's good. Adding just a little bit of detail. I'm not quite happy with the positioning yet. Can you guys hear my fan and my computer speed up? Cool. All right, so we got a little bit of detail there in the corners. What I want to start doing is applying this to the rest of the texture. So we're going to start tiling it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do, start with the tile generator. And we'll bring this into our pattern 1 input and change the pattern to image input. Am I working in the industry? Actually, I'm just a student right now. I am trying to break into the industry, but my main goal right now is to build up a portfolio. And one of the ways I wanted to do that was to make YouTube videos, and while I'm both learning, teach what I'm learning at the same time. So, soon to be in the industry. Are you in the industry? Do you work at a particular, is that what artificial arts is? I'm just curious. I actually just uploaded my first portfolio piece to ArtStation, which I should put a link in the description for, I'm thinking. So what am I doing here? Okay, X and Y amount. We want 3 on the X, 1 on the Y, and let's adjust the scale. Can I adjust the, oops. Amazing, you're working in a studio in Germany doing, amazing. Oh, see, I've always wanted to do ArcViz, especially for VR. I think that VR is pretty cool. I recently bought an Oculus Rift, And the potential for that thing is so cool, especially when it comes to the architecture, visualization, and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to go strictly into the game industry, or if I'm still trying to figure it out exactly. I've just recently narrowed my focus down right now to material and texture creation, especially with Substance Designer. But starting off, I was doing a wide range of just everything from rendering. I use Cinema 4D personally for my main piece of software for that kind of stuff. But I am curious about Maya because I know it is the industry standard. But yeah, absolutely, that's cool. I would love, yeah, being in the video game industry is awesome, and I would love to be there too. All right, so let's see. I need to scale this. Is that what interstice X and Y is doing? I bet you that's what it is. Yep. So I need a negative value on my interstice. Or not. Oh, wait. Oh, we're starting to get somewhere. You know what I think it might be? Oh my gosh, yeah. Cinema 4D. They just came out with that update. I think it's called S22. Was that what it was? And it does improve the UVs a little bit. I know that there's some auto UVing. But yeah, no, they've been lacking. So I've been using Rhizome UV for my UV needs. Oh, great. New releases. Awesome. Yeah, and then for sculpting, I'm doing, it's for ZBrush. I haven't done a lot of sculpting in a while, but even though you can do some sculpting in Cinema, it's nowhere near as powerful as the stuff that's in ZBrush. Yeah, Maya has all the algorithms, all the tools for UVing. Absolutely. Okay, what is going on here? I think I need to... Let's see here. Yeah, my knowledge of UVs in Cinema 4D is very, very limited, so I'm not exactly the person to ask for that. So what I think is going on here, I know I've just done a lot of crazy interstice stuff. I need to tile this without stretching it. And that is the first problem to solve for the day. Absolutely, yeah. Retopo. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll do some sculpting in the future on the channel. Absolutely. Maybe on one of these streams as well. It'll be a journey for all of us. Okay, so let's start tiling somehow. What I want, I know you can tile with Transform 2D, but I just think there's a tile option in one of these nodes that's going to do it for us. See, now that's exactly the shape I want, right? Oh, wait a second. Let's increase this. There we go. I think I found it, guys. I think I found it. So with the tile sampler node, you get a completely different tool set of parameters than you do with the tile generator, tile random, and the more I use them, the more I'm going to know which one's for which, right? So tile sampler lets you size up on the X and Y for each particular input that you give it. And it's not so much of a uniform thing. So let's plug this into our blend and see what we're getting. Yeah. better. And I think my ambient occlusion is now way too much. Now that I'm looking at it, let's bring the heights up, down. It's better. Okay. So let's bring up the size Y. Just using the arrow keys on there. Yeah, I think we could bring up the X a little more. Cool. Great. Oh wait, we're getting cut off here on the end, aren't we? So that's a tile sampler issue here. We've got some spacing, some scale. It's all a dance. We go to our position. Is that it? Thought we had it. I thought we had it. All right, that's doing that. See, I think the scale property, that's what's screwing me up here. It's multiplying what we're doing with the size X and Y. Just out of curiosity. If I bring these values down and just use scale, what happens? It's funny, the little things, these are the things that you learn when you actually use the program and you're not just looking at the tutorial. I'm definitely pushing and pulling now. Now, it might be that my height scale is off. So if I go to materials and I adjust my height here. Ah, see, look at that. It's perfectly fine. That has something to do with this particular model that we're using. So if I bring this on to plain high res, yeah, and that's looking pretty good. I can bring the scale back up again. And we have no issue. So how interesting is that? I'm going to have to learn a bit more about the tile sampler to see if I can adjust that later on. But for now, let's get back to where we were here. Let's connect these panels together. Bring up the Y. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it, though? I would love to use I use a cube for now, maybe? No, see, that doesn't look great at all, does it? Yeah, I just recently got the plus because I'm using. So I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. So I am pretty much inspired by Javier Perez, who created this amazing, amazing series. Yeah, and in fact, I have it in my reference here, where he makes this amazing set of sci-fi environment stuff, and it's totally inspiring. And it's definitely one of the reasons why I'm doing this today, is to try and create my own sort of sci-fi texture environment kind of thing going on. Absolutely. But first, I got to figure out how to use my rounded cube without things distorting all over the place. I might just have to. Oh, you watched it all? That's awesome. Yeah. Would you give it a thumbs up? I give it a thumbs up. I think it's amazing. It's really inspiring. Yeah, I need to figure out. Maybe I think what I might just do for now is scale down these panels so that it fits this cube for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. Something I'll have to figure out later. So let's do rounded cube. Did I choose rounded cube? I did. Let's bring the scale something like that. Let's take the overall scale down. And I hate if I just have to do like a transform and just like uniform scale this for now. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Okay. So I'm going to bring this, it's a bunch of push and pull. For now, I'm going to just take my size and make this the maximum it can be. And then take this transform and I'm going to remove the tiling. Yeah, we're going to keep it like that for now. There we go, guys. We have now a couple panels and it fits on this cube. All right, very good step. So let's take a look at some of our reference here. So in terms of the wall, I was saying earlier, I really like this, just how these sections divide up the shape, right? So maybe we can try adding some of that ourselves. How about, I'm gonna make sure we keep a tidy graph here. Let's add another shape. Make it another cube. And let's bring down the scale on the Y. And let's transform this so that it's going on the bottom, near the floor. And let's put that there for now. And I really just, maybe it's just because I'm used to working in modeling with hard surface modeling in Cinema 4D, but I really just want to always see what's going on in the 3D viewport. So let's blend these together. I'm going to hold Shift, put this in the background, and put this on the foreground. There we go. And I'm going to, let's see, add for now. Okay. And we have a lot to do with this thing. So let's start by, there's a couple ways to add dimension to things and rounding to things. One of them is a bevel. And I'm going to keep this transform down here for a while and start working on the shape itself. If I add this bevel and hook it up to my transform 2D, now that is not what I wanted to have happen. Okay, that's all right. We'll work on that. So we'll change the distance and bring that down. There we go. Oh, I see what's happening. This transform 2D has tiling on as well. So we're going to turn that on to absolute and no tiling. And let's adjust that bevel again. So bevel's interesting because you can see what it's doing here. It's mainly just affecting the outside, right? It's not really giving any roundness or anything to the inside. We could do distance and we could bring it on the inside, and that can do it kind of. There's definitely a use case for bevel. And since we're getting things to work in our view again, I'm going to bring that height scale back up. Although it just really messes things up, doesn't it? Okay. Another way is using blur, and not just any blur. Blur high quality grayscale. And let's bring up that quality and the intensity. And now you can see that this shape is a lot more round. There's another way as well, which I just recently learned, and that is using a non-uniform blur. And if you make the inputs the same, this really adds a great sense of depth to your shape. So if we increase the intensity here, and we'll bring up the samples. You see how much more round this looks? We'll take up the blades as well. And I know we added this really awesome detail here, so maybe instead of covering it up, I'm going to adjust this transform. Put this here for now. We're playing around. And let's make sure this tiles, or at least stretches across the whole thing here, so it goes around corners. And now the fun part, right? We can add curves to this. Yeah, this non-uniform blur is awesome. It really, it adds depth in a way that just, yeah, really just feels natural. Okay. So I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a mirror grayscale after this as well. And I'm going to mirror the y-axis. That's a lie. No, I'm going to mirror the y-axis. I'm going to invert. Keep it right in the middle there. Now let's play with that curve. So add a curve to this. Do you guys use the curve node often? I think it's really awesome. You really dial in the control of all this detail just so easily. So we can make this a hard curve. Zoom in a bit. See what we're doing here. Will this stream be uploaded or delete this? I'm going to keep this up on the channel. Yep, I'm going to keep this up here. So if you need to come back and you want to check out the progress, this is going to take multiple streams for sure to create all these textures. So yes, this will be on my channel for later as well. Let's see. Creating a bit of a hard edge here. And maybe we'll round it out just a tiny bit. So Artificial Arts, what did you like the most about that training? Because I learned so much from it. Getting quite a bit of tearing. Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. That's cool. It's got like a lip under the lip. Now, what's nice about the fact that we did it this way, because this gradient is going from light to dark, both going up and down, all of these details that we're adding here are also happening on the top. So we get a really good sense of symmetry here. What I'm thinking is I don't want these cuts to go through, so I need to make a new mask. Luckily, we can easily make one here. Great. Histogram scan. And great. Let's just make sure the contrast is all the way up. That should be our whole shape, and that is our mask that we want to remove. Now, if I just plug this in, that is incorrect. But if I invert, it is also incorrect. So, we could, you know what we could do? We could do a height blend. So this just makes all our problems go away, really. Height blend is amazing. Height. Oops, spell height right. So a height blend gives you a top and a bottom input. And literally the bottom in this case is our back panels, and the top is these new things that I don't even know what they are yet. And if we take this blended height and put it in our outputs, check this out. So already it solves our problem for us. I can bring those panels closer or further away. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just changing the offset of these new horizontal panels. That's great. And the contrast here, let's keep it pretty high contrasted. You can see with this opacity what's happening here. We're just fading them on. So I didn't have to worry about subtraction or, you know, getting rid of those lines. I'm sure there was an easier way to do that with subtracting and adding things, but height blend just does it all for me. And check this out. If you double click this output for height mask, you get that mask for free, which is really useful for later when you're doing things like adding color and roughness and need different masks. All right, so we got this. We've got a little bit of detail on the top. Let's see if I can add a little bit of tessellation here. Because I'm still getting a bunch of tearing. Tessellation factor. That's why. That's better. Okay. Let's get some more inspiration, yeah, from our references. Okay, so we've got this thing kind of going on here, and we can divide it up into sections. I like that. So let's do that, and let's stay organized here. So I'm going to group this, and I'm going to make sure my thumbnails are complete. Oh, they are. It's just really small. Got a frame. And I'm going to call this base paneling. And we're going to get this guy. do you call these? Horizontal guards. Let's go with that. And it's my panel. I could call it whatever I'd like. So we were going to add some divots onto this. So let's make this a bit bigger. More shapes. Actually, should I do shapes or should I do tiles? Let's try tile. Sampler. Oh, I've got an idea. Yep, I do. Let's try using a pyramid. Oh, that's a cool shape, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's do safe. Safe transform, just to be safe. Let's rotate this 90 degrees. You guys hear I'm going with this? And let's blend this on. Let's see. Woo! New keyboard. Hard to type. That looks really cool. Just out of curiosity, let's see what that looks like. That looks cool. And that's what happens completely by accident. Not what I was planning on doing though, but I really like that. I really like that. That is, I'll have to remember that for later. What I want to do though, see, this is affecting the entire thing. I want to copy this transform 2D and I want to apply it to this guy. And I'm also going to need to squeeze it down. Now, if you hold, is it Alt or Control? Control. You can do both of these. Let's get rid of the tiling. I know subtract is a lot to ask for. So we're going to use a different blending mode later, but now I just want to start lining things up a little. And I'm going to play with the curves. Interesting, right? And yeah, I think subtract isn't the right one, but we can do a couple of these things. We can max lighten. Min darken. Yeah, that's only going to take the minimum values. Multiply. And maybe subtract was the right one. If I add it, that could be good too. So let's add, and we're getting some white values here. And that's because we're dealing with, we're not really managing our height levels here at this point. Okay, plan of attack is let's decrease the height of this guy. Nope. that's the opposite. We'll decrease the height of everything. So that when we add, we have room to grow. Now I know, let's see. I know this looks a bit silly right now, so let's adjust this shape. I don't want that many on the Y. I just want a couple. And we really need to adjust these curves. So let's get a good side angle here going on. Hold on 1 second here. All right. So let's bring down its highest peak here and let's flatten it. And it's also so we can see a bit better. Let's bring up that ambient occlusion again. Getting a weird thing here. I'm thinking we'll worry about that later. Okay, let's tighten up the shape. Yeah, the curve node's great. Some weird stuff going on here. Let's go back to that tile sampler. Let's adjust the scale X. And it always does the opposite of what I think it does. Let's do -3. Can you do that? No. Oh, maybe I see. This is on the wrong parameter there. Cool. So let's do that. Adjust the curve some more. Still a bit round, which I'm not really going for today. Some more. Sort of playing around here, see what kind of values we can have. Yeah, sometimes too much is too much, you know? Too much detail. Still working on base shapes, I gotta remind myself. think we need to round off some of these curves, or maybe not. Try something like this. Let's give myself some room to work to scale this up. Just putting a bevel right on this corner. So somebody walking by this corner is like, I wonder what's behind all those panels. Great, so far so good. Maybe we will mirror this on the top as well. So to do that nicely, probably just need to do another mirror grayscale. We could probably combine these, but for now, let's just do that. Cool. I think I need to play a little bit with my ambient occlusion, and let's bring this back to normal size. Yeah, it was getting a bit out of control. The radius. Yeah, the radius was getting out of control. See, that's what we had before. Let's just dial that back a little bit for now. Okay. All right, and how are these screws holding up? They're still a very small detail. They're not very big. That's fine. What I will say is, I think these are protruding out a bit more than they should. So let's see, how long have we been going today? About an hour. Let's see if we do about half an hour more. 1 second here. Great, so let's bring down the height of these guys. Take that levels. Just bring it in just a little, because I still have one more piece that I want to add to this. And that is some sort of panel. Just some sort of, let's bring my camera back. So we've got a couple of things going on here. One more thing I want to add that I kind of was planning for today is to add a sort of a computer panel terminal, which is what I'm looking for. So trying to decide. I could put 2 of them here. I could put one here, one here. And yeah, see how we can go about doing that. See if we have time. I'm going to keep this stream to about an hour and a half today, and then we'll continue on the next stream. All right. So, like anything, we're going to start off with a shape. It's definitely going to be a square. I wonder if we should try making this a rounded screen. Could try. See what we got. So to make this rounded, I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to add a blur, high quality grayscale, increase the intensity quite a bit, and then I'm going to get a histogram scan node, crank the position up and the contrast up. And now we have a rounded rectangle. And if you don't bring the contrast all the way up, you can see on these corners we're getting some really bad aliasing here. So if we bring the contrast only slightly down, it's going to be nice and aliased anti-aliased. I think that's how you, right? So we've got a shape, but let's make it wider than it is tall. That's too much. And of course what we're going to want to do, let me think. Let's get another one of them, and what am I trying to do here? Let's do subtract for now. I just need to see what I'm doing. Subtract, and we'll just bring it like slightly down. Let's transform this. So that it takes up like a portion over here, and let's break that tiling. Absolute no tiling. Cool, so we've got like a screen here. We can put some buttons on the right hand side. So we could do some knobs. We could do some, see if we got some buttons. Yeah, actually no, I don't think anybody wanted to make any buttons on any of these. That's all right, we'll make my own buttons. Because we're not, yeah, there aren't any panels here. We've got all kinds of awesome shapes though from here, like look at that. That's great, let's make that. Shape. Disk. Scale it down. Perfect. And we're going to want another shape. Let's make it let's do another pyramid. Scale it down like that. Let's blend these together. I'm going to use an add. And what I really need to do, actually, I need to darken this guy quite a bit so that when we add it, we're actually doing something. Yeah, let's adjust the size. And isn't there a blend mode? Overlay. Yeah. I want it to crop out. Thinking on my feet here. Okay. This might look confusing. There we go. That was probably a really confusing way to go about doing that, but now we have this conforming to the shape of our disk. And now let's add that trusty curve node to just this guy. Let's shape it. Yeah. We'll see what this looks like in the 3D view. I still need to extrude and add a bevel. Wonder what's gonna happen. It's always a fun game. This levels is getting rid of my bevel. You know why? Because it's not plugged in. That's why. Cool. Now, let's take this and blend it in with our panel here. And heavily transform. I've got all the knobs. What am I doing? Tiling mode. Absolute. None. Let's move this into position. Very simple panel right now. That's all right. So to see what's going on, let's start placing this into our 3D view. It's been a while since we've been there. Add. Okay. Look at all the TVs. All right. Let's get rid of that tiling. Tiling, absolute. No tiling. That actually turned out rather well. That knob thing. Wow. Cool. Okay. So what I want to be doing here is mirror grayscale on the X and sliding this thing to the left. Perfect. Oh yeah, look at that. All right. Might keep that. Might have to not mirror it. We'll see what I think. It does look... we'll see. Not sure. And instead of a blend here, oops, let's do a height blend. And we'll just take these inputs and hold shift and borrow that. The bottom, the top, and then all of our problems go away. Oh, but you know what? No, they don't, because let's see. Actually, yeah, wait, let's see. That might work. We're really, really losing these guys. So what I'm going to do, I know all the way back here in the beginning, we had a levels node. Let's make it, yeah, there we go. Let's make it more prominent. Interesting. Keep that there for now. You see that the most prominent thing here are these guys, and we don't want that. Yeah. I'm gonna adjust that levels again and play with the other height. So that's gonna break everything, but that's on purpose. We're just readjusting our values here. Sounds therapeutic. Let's readjust our values for a minute. And then let's change these height blends. So we've got a height blend here. Height blend. There we go. Let's adjust that offset. So did it make that much of a difference? Hard to say, but now we're working with white and black values at their fullest. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. And let's adjust this levels. Oh, I see, yep. And then let's go back and see, yeah, now we're losing our paneling. What a balance this is. Interesting. Okay. All right. You know what we could do as well? We can add a histogram range node, and that sort of flattens everything out to a good gray starting point. We can adjust the range a little bit to our liking. That's interesting. If I delete that. And go back to my, yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting balance here. That comes with learning too. Okay. So right now this is very prominent. These I keep calling them panels. These like TVs. They're pushing down on the height on everything else. So let's just add as much as we need to. And then it's looking interesting. These are a bit harsh, so let's add a bevel. To our main base shape. So we've got a bevel. Yes. Let's bevel the base shape of this display and change the distance. Oh, you know what? This might be the wrong shape, but I'm not mad at that. Look at that. That looks cool. So what I'm actually going to do then is add a bevel here. That should take care of the outside shape. Smooth it out a little. Too much smooth. And this edge is looking too thin. So let's adjust that bevel. But you know what? This is sci-fi. This is the future. You know, we can have as thin bezels as we'd like. You know, in this future, iPhones don't have any more bezels. Neither do these displays. And let's always adjust our AO. Okay, so I'm liking where we've gotten so far. This is a good start. We've got a little detail back here. We've got a bunch of detail with these things going on. Probably going to add some more later. In the future, I'm going to want to add some cabling, some pipes. We'll put some pipes coming either out of this thing or in front of this thing. We definitely need some cables for this guy to connect everything. Everything needs a reason and a purpose to be there. Oh, hello, yep. Forgot to turn on the notification. Oh yeah, absolutely. We are saving this, and this will be on my channel later today when YouTube finishes processing it. We didn't accomplish too much today, mainly trying to figure out the tile sampler, tile generator, stuff like that. But we are getting started on a sci-fi wall series, basically what I'm doing here. So, yeah, so luckily you'll be able to fast forward through us, pushing through, figuring out the tile sampler settings. But yeah, so we are just getting started on this new series where I'm going to create a sci-fi corridor scene, and we're going to put it in Unreal Engine 4, walk around it, and create it all from scratch using just Substance Designer and these texturing nodes. In fact, what am I doing without my camera here? Yeah, so this is the end of the stream for today. In fact, before let me just bring this up so you guys can see what's going on. So this is the end of the stream for today. We've created sort of a simple tileable wall that we're going to add on to in the next stream. I'm going to make some plans. I'm going to really trick this thing out with some more intense detail. So we're just starting off with the base details today, and kind of coming up with the concepts, and then we're going to enhance it, add even more detail in the next stream. All right, everyone. So thank you all so much for watching today. I'll see you in the next one. Turn on those notifications, and you'll see when the next stream is. Planning on doing a bunch more. Not sure how often we're going to be streaming. I might be doing more than one a week if I want to, or maybe once a week. We'll figure it out. Anyway, stay tuned. There's a new video coming up soon this week, so check out your notifications for that one, and I will see you in the next one. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. You are awesome.